And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to be doing an update today on our good friend Bitcoin. What I want to do is on this video today, of course, we know that Bitcoin's in a downtrend. We know that Bitcoin is moving down. What I want to do is I want to talk about a couple scenarios. To say, are we going lower, or are we kind of done here? And are we in for a relief rally? And so I'm going to talk about a couple of these scenarios. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet today, but do want to keep things very informative. I'm going to take a look at a couple charts that I normally don't show you guys, but I want to talk about some extreme bear cases. Which may or may not come to fruition. So I don't want to like scare you, right? But we do need to be realistic and honest with each other about what happened in 2017 and what might be happening right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into it. And I've got four different charts that I have up here on my screen. I'm going to talk about at least two of them, and just talk about what we're seeing here. The first one I'm going to take a look at is this one that I've got down here. As a trader that does this on a pretty regular basis, I do try to keep a good handle on the market. But let's just take a look here. And again, this isn't meant to scare anybody. This isn't meant to say cash out of crypto. It's not meant to make you walk away, because it is very likely that we have finished correcting, but still looking at that 5,800 as one last capitulation to see a nice move to the upside. But still remains to be seen. But what I want to take a look at here, excuse me, I want to take a look at, I want to take a look at our market cycle from when BitMEX launched, right? So, in my opinion, when BitMEX launched its futures platform, this is when Bitcoin really started its move to the upside. So this was back when Bitcoin was, under $250. This was like way back, right at the beginning of the next bull cycle. Coincidence? I think not. I think not. I think actually BitMEX and these exchanges were some of the catalysts that really spurred off the last bull market cycle. So I'm focusing just on BitMEX. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. We'll find out. Again, it's going to take a lot of time for us to figure this out. All right, so what I want to take a look at here, I want to take a look at, of course, we've talked now on a log scale from the top to the bottom and retrace. On a log scale, we got to the 786. On a linear scale, we got to the 618. Both of those levels are pretty darn important if you ask me. So doing the pull down and the retrace, on a linear scale to the 618, on the log scale, which is what I'm actually going to focus on, the log scale being at a 786, my interest is going to be down at the 236 extension. Okay, so as of right now, we have the 21, which is trading above the 55. That is good, that is bullish. The 21 exponential is below the 30 simple moving average. That is bearish. We're just talking very simple terms here. We've got some short-term moving averages above and below some longer-term moving averages. Again, this 30 simple average is starting to curve to the downside. And I apologize, there's a lot on this chart, but all of the data that's on here is extremely relevant. We're looking at a weekly time frame. And the other thing that's very important to note is this 200 moving average. We've got the 200 simple moving average at $5,024, the 200 exponential moving average at $5,029. Now, if I were to pop over to Bitstamp, I know I promised you that I would just be focused on BitMEX. I'm going to pop back over there here in just a moment, but we can see down here the 200 simple moving average. That is what was the bottom back in December of 2018. And then we had another test of it over here on January 28th, the week of January 28th, and then we launched upwards. It was a slow creep upwards, and finally, boom, we hit some upwards momentum. All of the moving averages crossed bullish. Everything was great. People were in a newfound euphoria. Well, okay, so now we're correcting. And now we really do look like we want to come back and retest this 200 simple moving average. Now, people are going to argue Bitcoin in the history has never broken the 200 simple moving average. If we take a look, and we're on a log scale, if we take a look back into the inception of the 200 simple moving average, back over here on June of 2015, it was support. Over here, in August of 2015, it was support. And then again, this is about the time BitMEX futures launched. It was about $220, $230, and then boom, moved to the upside. Is that coincidence? I don't buy it. I don't think that's coincidence. I think that is, I think that was part of what caused this cycle to the upside. All right, let me go back to BitMEX. I'm going to go back to BitMEX and I'm going to show you this here. Again, I'm on a log scale and I have a pitchfork. I've got a regular pitchfork, nothing special about it, not a shift, not a modified shift, just a regular plain pitchfork, okay? And I have, again, the pull from the top down to the bottom, and we can see the retrace to the 786, all right? So our algo target for this is going to be, it's, again, is this coincidence that it's right at $2,000? I don't think so. What is likely, not likely, I don't want to say likely, what could happen? What could happen if the 200 simple moving average breaks? If the 200 simple moving average breaks on the weekly, this is quite literally a death sentence to Bitcoin for the midterm. Now, as this continues to move, as this continues to move sideways, this 200 simple moving average, I'm just going to make a projection that this is going to be moving in this direction. All right, and with that, I'm going to make a slight correction to this right here. We're looking for a move to the downside right in the neighborhood of $2,000. And we're looking for July of 2020 for this to take shape. Now, is this out of the realm of possibility? Is this completely unheard of? What a lot of people forget, and what a lot of people weren't around for, is Bitcoin prices here at $200, $300. You still have plenty of people that bought Bitcoin all the way down here. Not necessarily on the perpetual swap on BitMEX, but you have plenty of people that bought back here in 2015, 2016, heck, even 2017. If you bought in 2017, you're still in decent shape. It's all of the people that were interested here that are currently sweating. The people that bought down here, they're still sitting okay. But again, for a move down to $2,000, is that something that is, is that something that's way far-fetched? Well, let's just take a look and see. And this is going to be my first time pulling this, by the way, from the bottom up here to the top. All right. Now, when we did our retrace, we came back. We didn't get to the 5. We didn't get to the 50%. We got basically to the 382, which leads me to believe that was likely a 4. But I do think it is possible for us to come back here to the 50, which is at 2166. And we know the algo target is going to be right at $2,000. So this zone is pretty important for us. If we get down here, I'm definitely not saying we are coming down here. But what I am willing to say is, if we break the 200 simple moving average, very likely we will capitulate and we will do a retrace, and then we're going to come down. It is very likely that is what's going to happen. And then what this would create a nice W, X, and then a Y to come all the way down here to this level. Everybody's talking that it was a 3-year bear market or so back in 2015. Well, what's to say that this bear market's going to be any shorter? This was a really nice uptrend. We had several 100% gains in Bitcoin, and now we're coming back down, and we're going to start the same thing that we did back here. But I do think that this cycle is going to be a little compressed. It's not going to take as long, and we may just very well break this right now. Again, we're on a weekly time frame, so we're talking about this being, at the end of January, and then a move up, talking about April. Okay, everybody loves April. Everybody thinks that April is the month where we have these big green candles, and we have had that. When we go back, I think it was right here. This was a nice 19% month for April, or sorry, that was the first week of April. This right here, This week of April, that was a nice 26% month in April. I haven't actually looked back to see if we had good green candles in April. This was a good 10% month, and the week prior, the very beginning of April was 13%. Okay, and let's just go back to 2016. Let's see if April gave any decent gains. Looks like in the middle of April, 8%. So it's not unreasonable to believe that when it comes to April, we're going to get this move up if we break the 200 simple moving average. If we break, we come up and we retest that. Very likely we will fail if we hit that again, and then we come back down. So I am going to keep my short position. I am not going to close my short position. I'm going to leave that open. It's been open since about 7,500, 7,600 or so. I'm leaving that open, and I'm only going to be hedging long positions. I am not going to be closing that short position. I'm going to be hedging long positions, and I'm going to basically attempt to recoup potential losses as the price does recover, because it will. We're going to get bounces, and I'm going to try and hedge those positions as they come. If they get stopped out, I stop out of that hedged long position. I just let it keep going down, and I'm still in my short position. I feel pretty good about the position that I'm in right now, and this is my strategy. This is my opinion, and that's what I'm talking about right here. Just my opinion. I do believe that we are at a point where we are creating a little bit of a bottom here. We will get a relief rally. I think Ripple, which is currently I think sub 20 cents, I think Ripple has potential to go to 25 or 30 cents from here. That is a significant gain for something that only costs 20 cents. You're talking about a potential 40, 50% gain. Okay, I'm not saying go buy Ripple. I'm just saying that there is potential for a bounce in the market sometime soon. Let's take a look at the next chart here. This is our extreme bear case. Let me talk about the reason why I think we might be actually creating a little bit of a bottom here. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to go to a linear scale instead of a log scale, and I'm going to go to a regular shift and just take a look and see how this works out. All right, so we hit the bottom. We haven't closed below this median line. That's pretty darn important if you ask me. It's pretty important that we have not closed below this median line. Still using the same metrics from the top at 20K down to the bottom at 31 to the retrace at 13,900, and pulling just a regular shift pitchfork off of this on a linear scale, and I'm looking at the daily, although time frame doesn't matter when you're looking at pitchforks. We have not closed below this median line. We're very close. Now this daily candle still has about 6 hours left in the daily. If we close this daily below there, chances are pretty darn good we're going to be moving down some more. But if we do hold this median line, I do think that there is potential for us to see more upside. And again, I talk about support and resistance levels all the time. This isn't a chart that I usually put support and resistance lines, but let's just go ahead and mark this out. Our first important resistance level to get through is going to be right there at about 78.25. We'll call it 7,800 for good measure. The next resistance level that we are going to be extremely interested in is this level right here, which is about 86.50. Those are the two levels I'm very interested in. If we're able to get up into this zone, I do think we will break upward. Because as of right now, basically what's been happening, we have been just basically getting demolished. We have a resistance level right here that was respected as resistance as it was previously support, and then we fall down. Okay, and then we've got, this newfound resistance here at this level at 78.50, which, we got to break through those. But if we can get a move to the upside, we break above this, and even if we were to consolidate up here, I do think that there is more upside ahead of us. We are going to have this right here, which let's see here, I want to outline this because it is important for us to pay attention to. It's not a horizontal, it's more of a diagonal. That level right here, if we are able to get up to this level, basically 10,000 is going to be pretty significant resistance, as it's a good psychological level for us to be interested in. I think that first push of 10K is going to be pretty extreme resistance, that we will likely get a nasty rejection candle off of that because of, let me move to this chart. Okay, we've been talking about this chart for a while as well. Let me move out to a 4-hour candle, And we know for a fact that all of these long positions have been accumulating in this range that we are currently in. Again, we talked about this the other day, from 6,600 up to 7,700. All right, so all of these leveraged long positions, these are over leveraged positions, and they are increasing their leverage more than likely. Again, this is just a hypothesis. They're over leveraging their positions simply to get out of them at a lower price. They want to break even. These guys want to break even because what they're seeing is the price going down further and further and further. And folks, let me tell you, if we get to the point where these longs start closing as the price is going down, these longs are fueling a long squeeze that is dropping the price of Bitcoin, and we have significant drops in the price of Bitcoin ahead of us. Now, granted, there are going to be plenty of people that are going to be waiting to buy spot prices down below. But if we start to break these lows here at, especially 6,500, if we get anywhere close to 6,000, my guess is that their stops are going to be probably sitting anywhere between 6,000 and 6,500. If we start to hit these levels, we are probably going to be going down in a significant way because there's 45,000 Bitcoin that are sitting in long positions. If you had 45,000 Bitcoin, you went to do a market sell by hitting a stop loss, what do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? If you had 45,000 Bitcoin and you went to Coinbase and you hit market sell 45,000 Bitcoin, that price would probably flash crash to $100. All right, now that's pretty extreme. But nonetheless, I do think that there is fuel to move the price to the downside. Okay, but if we start to say make this move up, this 97.25, 10,900, if we start to hit this level up here, chances are pretty good these longs are going to be at a position where they will be able to break even. Because if you see, we had a slight uptick right here in long positions. These longs were open anywhere between 95.77 and 10,900. If you take an average and you move this all the way down here where we have an extreme increase in the amount of long positions, my guesstimate is their average entry price is probably somewhere between $8,000 and $8,500. So if they can get a price up to $9,000 or $10,000, they're probably going to close those positions, and we're going to see a move to the downside. I do think that there is going to be some punishment here for the short positions, as we have very little metrics that we have here on Bitfinex to take a look at. But I would imagine that some of the other exchanges where you can't see real short open interest, more than likely we're going to see a move to the upside, which is probably what these Bitfinex longs are attempting to take advantage of, seeing a move to the upside and likely having huge rejection, and again seeing that continuation to the downside, which we have talked about. So what do I think? Do I think Bitcoin's going to $2,000? I think it's possible, but I think the probability is pretty low. Do I think Bitcoin has the probability of going back to $3,000 and bouncing off of there? I have to see what happens at the 200 simple moving average on the weekly. Right now, that's sitting at $5,000. My consensus is we're going to go to 5,800. If we break 5,800, we're probably going to go and touch that 200 simple moving average on the weekly. And I would be willing to bet that that is going to be significant demand. There's going to be significant support down there. But for right now, I think that the trend is bearish, although I do think that here very soon, we are going to see a relief rally. I do believe that we are going to see a move to the upside. Now, how far that goes, that's really anybody's guess. It could be as high as 7,700 to 8,000. But our first resistance level on the shorter time frames, as I have outlined here on this chart, is at $7,800, $7,819.50, $7,820, whatever you want to call it. We'll just call it an even 7,800. If we can break 7,800, then our next level is probably going to be 9,000, a good psychological level at $9,000. And we'll go from there. I don't want to swing too bearish or too bullish too fast, because right now everybody is extremely bearish, which more than likely means the price is going to move up, and I am interested in hedging at this level, although I am keeping my short position open, at least for now. and we'll see what happens in the coming days. Christmas is right around the corner. We are a good 8 days from Christmas. We are 1 week and 1 day from Christmas. Bitcoin is at $6,705. And likely there will be a little bit of a relief rally, but I do think sometime around Christmas it's going to look very similar to what the Dow Jones did on Christmas Eve last year. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening to my rants and my raves. And if you found any of this information helpful, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, and all of that wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you're having a really fantastic day, night, evening.